Hello friends, welcome to the first session on trademarks where we'll be discussing about basics of the trademarks. In one of my previous videos I have already discussed about different types of IPRs, the link to which is given in the description below. Now, before starting with the session, I would strongly recommend that you all please get a latest version of the Trademarks Act 1999. Do check that it's the latest version, that is a 2023 print, because there have been substantial amendments in the last few years. All those 2022 amendments and prior to that would be incorporated in the 2023 version. You can get that at the print format in any of the law book shop which is nearby your place, or any of the court complexes where generally these law books shops are there. Apart from it, I'll also be posting the link to the PDF versions of the Trademarks Act as well as Trademark Rules. But the print format is a much better one because you will be getting the acts and the rules under the same book, and cross-referring to them is much more easier. Now, coming to the today's topic about the introduction to the trademarks. When we look at the word trademarks, so it's a combination between trade as well as marks. So it is any mark which is capable of distinguishing a trade, or which is actually identifying the trade. So that is a trademark. It has been defined under section 2ZB of Trademarks Act 1999. That is the legislation. It has been enacted in 1999 by the Indian Parliament, which governs or which enshrines all the laws related to the trademarks in India. So it's a 1999 Act. Do remember it from the exam, not only from the exam point of view, but from a knowledge point of view also. Even if you are a lawyer who is practicing into the IP, so it's a 1999 legislation which is governing the trademark laws. Now, as per the definition, a trademark means a mark capable of being represented graphically and which is capable of distinguishing the goods and services of one person from those of the others, and may include shape of goods, their packaging, and combination of colors. So, whenever we talk about trademarks, it's a very long road to understand it, because there have been judicial precedents through which we have arrived over this particular definition. Apart from it, it's a very wide scope. The beauty of the law is that you cannot restrict it, and it keeps on evolving itself. Similarly, the definitions. In any of the act, in any of the legislation, they also keep on evolving themselves. So trademarks, the definition of the trademarks changes from time to time. It keeps on evolving itself from time to time, and it cannot be restricted to these words. But as of now, it's a mark which represents the business or a commercialization of anything, which is being represented by a name. For example, McDonald's. So as soon as you hear McDonald's, you remember of the burger, the food chain. So that represents a particular brand. That's a trademark. Apart from it, you can have Reliance. Otherwise, Reliance has a different dictionary meaning. But when you talk about Reliance, so you immediately get Reliance Industries. The Geo, that is also part of Reliance. So all these other trademarks, because they are representing a particular business. Furtherance in the same definition, it's in relation to chapter 12 other than section 107, a registered trademark or a mark used in relation to goods or services for the purpose of indicating, or so as to indicate a connection in the course of trade between the goods or services, as the case may be, and some person having the right as proprietor to use the mark. And in relation to other provisions of this act, a mark used or proposed to be used in relation to goods or services for the purpose of indicating, also to indicate a connection in the course of trade. So everywhere, wherever you where you will be just looking at the definition, it's always under the course of trade between the goods or services, as the case may be, and some person having the right either as proprietor or by way of permitted user. So proprietor is actually the owner, or permitted user is the license holders, the licensees. So you can even license your trademark further to use the mark whether with or without any indication of identity of that person, and includes a certification trademark or collective mark. Now, we all have gathered that from the definition itself, from the legislative point of view itself, it's always the commercial point of view, it's always the trade point of view. When you use a particular mark for a business point of view, that's a trademark because that gives an identity to the business. Now, coming to the next thing about the types of the trademarks. So, like in any other IP, we have the types of the trademarks as well. So, we have word mark or the device mark. That is the broad classification which the Indian legislation follows. That's the word mark and the device mark. Whenever you will be making your applications, from the attorney's point of view, from the lawyer's point of view also, we generally have that whether it's a word mark or the device mark. When we talk about the word mark, it's generally the letters, the spellings, the names of the business. For example, when we talk about Reliance, so RELIANCE, the spelling of the Reliance is the word mark. On the contrary, when you talk about the device mark, it's the shape, it's a logo, any of the graphical representation, or if you have a particular style of writing. For example, you keep the R in a very bold letter, in a very cursive, and then other letters are being followed by it in a separate distinguishing way. So that is the device mark. So it includes the logos, it includes symbols, 3D shapes. 3D trademarks are being explored these days. Many of the brands, specifically Tata Motors, they have trademarked their whole shape. There was a case in Japan wherein the Honda has trademarked the entire shape of the motorcycle. So there's 3D shapes. One of the most prominent examples of the 3D trademarks are the Zippo lighter. So they are being trademarked, the shape of that trademark. Then Coca-Cola bottle. Coca-Cola bottle is also 3D trademark. It has been trademarked by the Coca-Cola. So they all come under the 3D trademarks. Then colored marks. When you have a particular color scheme, they can also be trademarked. Then special font characters. Again, if you have a specialized way of writing a word, so that can also be trademarked, which you are particularly using in representing your trade. For example, the Tata T in the Tata logo, that is a special font which they are using, so they have trademarked it. Furthering in this, these marks can also be divided into the service marks. So when you are representing a particular service, it is generally not used in the Indian legislation, but classifying it, we do use it. That is service mark, collective mark, and the certification mark. So collective mark can be used under, for example, the CA Institute. That is representing a collection of people. So that is a collective mark. Certification mark, ISI certifications, ISO certifications. So they all are certification mark which represents a particular certificate. Service marks, when you are giving a particular service, for example, plumbing services, and someone has has trademarked the services. So that is a service mark. So these are the broad classification of the types of trademark, and you will be learning more into detail in the furthering videos. Now, these are some of the salient features of trademark. First and foremost, the tenure of the trademark is 10 years, and the good point is that it's one of the IP which can be renewed periodically. So, when we talk about the trademarks, they are renewable and they can be renewed from time to time. After within the expiry period, you'll have to get it renewed, otherwise your right goes off. We will be discussing about a particular case also where it was renewed after the expiry of a substantial period, but that was a special case. I have not come across many of the cases, but It was one of the cases where the court specifically allowed the renewal of the trademark. Otherwise, it has to be renewed within a particular time frame, and we'll be looking at that time frame also. Plus, it's one of the IPR which can be renewed. Otherwise, if you look at the patents, so patents once expired, so it gets expired. It cannot be renewed. Once the patent is dead, it's a dead patent. When we talk about copyright, the same issue is there. Although it's a very long period for which the copyright is being granted. For the lifetime of the author plus 60 years hence, that's the term of the copyright. So they have a very long tenure, but once the copyright is dead, it comes under the public domain. But for the trademarks, it's a specific case because it represents a particular trade. So after 10 years, you have the provision of getting it renewed for another 10 years, and that can go on for a very long time. The other feature is that it represents the goods and services of the owner of the trademark and distinguishes them from the goods and services of the others. The third is that it's a marketing and advertising device. And fourth is it creates an image in the minds of the consumers. So these are some of the salient features of a trademark. Now, the last thing which I wanted to discuss in today's video is about the nice classifications. So when we talk about the classifications in a trademark, we know that we have different trades, different segments of the trade. For example, there can be someone who's into the dairy products, which comes under class 29. So dairy and oil products. Class 29. When we talk about pharmaceuticals, so that comes under class 5. So these are different classes of the products which are there. So whenever we talk about these classes, so we have class 1 to, and it's a universal class, so it's followed in a lot of countries who are signatory to the common TRIPS agreement. So now we have class 1 to 34, that is the products. Class 1 to 34 depicts the products, and class 35 to 45 depicts the services. So these are some of the nice classification. Apart from it, there is one more class, that is class 99. The benefit of the class 99 is that you get protection into multiple classes. You have to select the classes and you get protection under different classes. With one single application, you can have multiple classes, the registration into multiple classes. Your business might be spanning into different classes. You might be into the service also, as well as you might be into certain products, or you might be into the multiple products which are falling into different classes. So that can go under class 99. So this is all for today's session. In the furthering sessions, we will be discussing more about the definitions, the section 2, and further section 2, as well as the procedure, the timeline of the trademarks. Thank you. If you like the video, please do hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for getting notification for any of the new uploads which I make. Plus, if you have any doubts, you can always drop me a text. I'll be dropping my number in the description, as well as my email ID. You can always contact me over there, or you can even post a comment in the comment section below. Thank you.